I went to an anime convention with all old cosplays for the first time, and I was absolutely terrified to do so. And while this may seem like a minuscule reason to be anxious, the topic of re-wearing cosplays has become sort of a controversial one in the last handful of years, and I want to talk about it. But first, let's go back to May of 2025 when I attended Fanime. Fanime is a 3-day anime convention held every year in San Jose, California at San Jose McEmery Convention Center. I've been attending this convention for about the last 3 years, and it has quickly become one of my favorites because the whole premise behind Fanime is that it is made for fans by fans. Meaning this convention is not one of those big money grab corporation cons that we've been seeing popping up. Though it wouldn't be right to start this convention vlog without mentioning that there has been issues arising in the last few years surrounding the board and mistreatment towards staff and attendees. So much so that there was a call to boycott Fanime in 2025. I actually didn't hear about all of this until after the convention was over, and this is a whole nother topic that I would be glad to talk about if you would like, but for now, let's hop into day one. So my partner and I actually arrived in San Jose the night before, but it was pretty late, so much so that we actually missed the early badge pickup. And so we just decided to check into our Airbnb and wind down for the night and prep for the next morning.
The best way to do it. We are officially ready and we're heading down to day one.
We spent most of day one hanging out outside on the side of the convention center, which is where Photog Alley is. For those of you who don't know, Photog Alley is just a big open area where cosplayers and photographers alike can congregate. It's a great way to meet and interact with other people, and also, of course, get photos of your cosplay. We like to hang out here because a lot of our friends usually pass through, and it is a lot easier for us to find people we know instead of stumbling through the convention center, because let's be real, trying to find people at a convention is an absolute nightmare. For Fanime, this also happens to be the place where some of the cosplay meetups happen, and for us it worked out perfectly because half of the group that I was with this day were cosplaying from Sonic, and the Sonic the Hedgehog cosplay meeting was happening right there. In true seasoned cosplayer fashion, I was only able to handle being in my cosplay for a few hours before I hobbled my way back to the Airbnb to change into some comfy clothes and then make my way back into the wild to find some much needed sustenance and finish my night with some retail therapy in the vendor's hall.
We have changed and now we are heading back. It is about 5-ish and we're probably gonna get food, but the other half of our group has been exploring the artist alley for a while, so we're gonna meet up with them first and then decide what we're gonna do.
Now day 2 was probably the one that I was the most nervous about in terms of re-wearing cosplays. Queen of the Damned is probably my most well-known cosplay that I've made to date. Not saying something, but I have worn her quite a few times since I made her back in 2023. I was really getting into my head about not bringing a brand new cosplay out on the busiest day of the convention. But nonetheless, I managed to shove that anxiety down and try to enjoy my Saturday the best I could. After getting more photos, we went back inside to do another sweep of the vendor's hall and artist alley, and then afterwards we headed to the Marvel Rivals meetup on the opposite side of the convention center from the Sonic meetup to go root on my friend Dom and all of the other amazing cosplayers that were cosplaying from something that I have been hyperfixating on for a while.
We are making our way through the vendor's hall now. It's slow going because I can't walk a lot, but we're doing it.
Afterwards, we changed into our silly, goofy, regular show cosplay group and went to eat at Pizza My Heart because pizza. And then we spent the rest of the night hanging out outside the convention center, dancing around, making videos, and taking photos before we called it a night. And I was able to say that I successfully made it through all of the nerves that I was holding on to about wearing an old cosplay. I'm sure some of you guys are even wondering why I was so nervous in the first place. In the early days of cosplay, and when I say early, I'm talking like the 2000s, cosplay was so niche that in order to cosplay the characters that people wanted, they had to make it in some way, shape, or form, whether that be completely from scratch or trying to assemble different pre-made pieces. Most pre-made costumes were cheaply made Halloween costumes of the most popular characters or generic concepts like hippie. And the companies that made these costumes were not willing to put in the time and money to supply costumes of the super niche characters that we love. In the last handful of years, cosplay has absolutely exploded into the mainstream, and with that, production companies saw a new market that they could profit on. And before we knew it, stores catering specifically to cosplayers started popping up all over the place. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that cosplay has become more accessible, especially for those who just want to enjoy the hobby without actually having to make things. But when we pair that with the capitalistic mindset of these companies and along with the social push for people to constantly consume more and more, this is where we start to have a problem. Top that with the pressure of social media and having to always be on top of the next biggest, hottest trend, and the pot boils over. There is this new ideology in cosplay that we have to continuously buy and make cosplays in order to stay relevant. Some even going so far as at letting it negatively impact them both mentally and financially. I have seen countless people choose to leave this hobby simply because of this toxic pressure. And I've also seen people struggle financially in the pursuit of growing in cosplay. This mentality has strayed so far away from the root of cosplay's true meaning. Cosplay is supposed to be about dressing up as your favorite characters and having a silly, goofy time with your friends. I totally get how easy it is to get swept up into this monster of a wave that's been crashing over the cosplay community. I found myself falling into it over the years as well. So much so that I began to develop anxiety to wear a cosplay that I put so much love and hard work into simply because I've worn it before. And it made me realize that this is not the path I want to take with this hobby. I want to make cosplays that I am proud of and that will stand the test of time. And conventions. In the end, my nervousness was completely unwarranted. Fanime is a huge convention that has thousands of attendees each year. And the probability that all of those people saw my cosplay is exceptionally low. I had so many people come up to me and talk to me about my cosplays that I've never met before, and even had friends who were just excited to see me wear it again. At the end of the day, the real takeaway is, even if everybody in the world has seen your cosplay, who cares? Wear it as many times as you want, because your hobby is for you. Sunday, the last and final day of Fanime, I decided not to cosplay and spent the day as a handler for the rest of my friends. We did one more sweep of the artist alley and the vendor hall before heading over to the cosplay contest to cheer on some friends that had entered, and with that, another convention weekend had come to a close. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to bunny hop on that subscribe button. Big thank you goes out to my patrons over on Patreon. Over there, I show a lot of behind the scenes as well as exclusive videos, photo sets, new monthly podcasts, and so much more. If that sounds interesting to you, please feel free to go check it out. If not, simply interacting with this video also helps me and this channel oh so much, and I appreciate it. And with all that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!